There are words that stay with you not because you said them, but because you never did, and at 81, I have learned how heavy silence can become. My name is Thomas, I'm 81 years old, and this is the story of one conversation I kept postponing until time made the decision for me. For most of my life, I believed there would always be another chance to talk things through. I wasn't careless, just confident in tomorrow. I grew up in a home where feelings were handled quietly and disagreements were left alone long enough to fade, so I carried that habit into my own life without ever questioning it. When something felt uncomfortable to say, I told myself it could wait, and for years, waiting felt harmless. The conversation I avoided was with my younger brother, Daniel. We were close growing up, close enough to know each other's moods without speaking, but adulthood slowly pulled us in different directions. It started with a disagreement over our parents' estate, nothing dramatic, just a misunderstanding that turned into distance. We stopped calling as often, then stopped visiting, and eventually we settled into a polite silence that felt easier than reopening old tension. I told myself we were fine. We sent birthday cards, exchanged brief messages during holidays, and nodded politely at family gatherings. I believed that was maturity, that not stirring the past meant peace. What I didn't admit was that I was afraid of saying the wrong thing, afraid that honesty might make things worse instead of better. Years passed quietly, jobs ended, children grew up, hair turned gray. Every now and then, I would think about calling Daniel, rehearsing the words in my head, imagining how I would explain my side and ask about his. Then life would interrupt, or doubt would creep in, and I would decide to wait for a better moment, one that felt calmer and more certain. The call I received one morning changed that forever. Daniel had fallen ill suddenly, and by the time I reached the hospital, he was already slipping away. I sat beside him, surrounded by machines and the soft sounds of a room that felt far too small for everything we hadn't said. I wanted to talk, to apologize, to laugh about old memories, but my voice felt trapped somewhere between my chest and my throat. He looked at me briefly and squeezed my hand. There was no anger in his eyes, only tiredness. He passed away a few hours later, and the conversation I had planned for years became impossible in an instant. In the months that followed, I replayed every moment we shared and every moment we avoided. I realized that the conversation I feared wouldn't have fixed everything, but it would have given us both peace. Silence didn't protect us, it only delayed the truth until there was no one left to hear it. At 81, I understand now that difficult conversations are not problems to be solved, but connections waiting to be honored. They don't need perfect words, just presence and sincerity. Waiting for the right time often means waiting too long. If you are listening to this and there is someone in your life whose name brings both warmth and hesitation to your heart, don't trust silence to do the work for you. Speak while you can, not because you know exactly what to say, but because the chance to say anything at all is more fragile than we like to believe.